What we're going to do this afternoon is look at a technique that will help introduce vocabulary for our students. The technique that I'm going to be demonstrating is eliciting, and I'll be following up with another technique which is called concept checking. Now these are both really, really important to prepare our students for a reading that we might hand out to them and to prepare them for a listening. For example, let's start with this. Who likes movies in here? Yeah, you do? Okay, great. Sounds like a few people like movies. So what kinds of movies do people like?
Comedy?
Comedy, all right. Good. What are some other types of movies?
Drama.
Drama, fantastic. Great. So what are some other kinds of movies that people like?
Action.
Action, great. Action movies. And this is what I want to talk a little bit more about today, especially one kind of action movie, which is a James Bond movie. Hands up if you've seen a James Bond movie. All right, good. He's a spy, and he does have a spy name. What is it?
007?
007, that is right. Good. And what I really like about James Bond movies is that there are good guys and there are bad guys. And they fight a lot. What's another name for the bad guys?
Villain?
It's a villain. Good. Roman, is James Bond a villain?
No.
No. What is he?
A good guy?
He's a good guy, exactly. Young, can you give me another example of a villain from any movie?
Maybe Joker from Batman?
Excellent, good. The Joker from Batman. Another thing that I really like about James Bond movies is that people do things like they'll use a shoe for a telephone, or you'll see cars flying through the air. And these are called special
effects.
Special effects. Good. What's another special effect that you've seen in a movie?
People flying.
People flying, great. Can you tell me which movie you've seen that in?
The Matrix.
The Matrix, excellent. Now, is it real when they do that?
No.
It's not. It's a special effect. Excellent. When I go and see a movie, sometimes I like to find out a little bit more about it beforehand, and so I read something. What do you think I read?
A review.
A review, great. Where can we find reviews?
Newspaper?
Newspapers, excellent, good. And some people are really lucky because they have a job which allows them to watch movies and write reviews. What's their job called?
Film critic.
It's a film critic, great. A critic. Where can film critics put their reviews?
Magazine or newspaper?
Magazines,
Online.
good. Online? Fantastic. Good. Sometimes people agree with the reviews that critics write, and sometimes they don't. What is it called when we don't agree with them?
Disagree.
Disagree. Excellent. So today what we're going to do is we're going to listen to two movie critics talking about a James Bond movie. Their names are Pauline and Colin. So let's find out what they thought about the James Bond movie that they watched. Alright, so this has been an example of eliciting and concept checking. Let's review it to make sure that everybody fully understands what's going on. When we elicit, what we're trying to do is ask questions to see if students are able to give us the vocabulary. And that shows us that they already know it. For example, when I say, James Bond has a spy name, what is it? And students respond 007, I'm eliciting that response from them, and it tells me that they already know the answer to that question. The same thing with a villain. We have good guys and we have bad guys. What's another name for the bad guys? When students say the word villain, I know that they know what villain is already. But what usually happens is maybe 1 or 2 students will shout out the word that you're looking for. So you need to concept check with the other students to find out if they understand what it is as well. And that's where asking questions like, is James Bond a villain, is going to show us whether students did in fact understand that a villain is a bad guy. Following up again with a question like, can you tell me another example of a villain? That's where when a student says something like, the Joker, I know that that student has understood what villain means. So eliciting and concept checking are important because if you don't introduce key vocabulary at the beginning of a lesson and make sure that students understand it, you're really not setting them up for success for the rest of the lesson.